It's a crisis politicians around the world argue about, but one that is felt by ordinary people. So let's leave behind presidents, parliaments, and take you to the supermarket shelves. We've been speaking to Álvaro. He's been speaking to Shauna here on our Cube team. He lives in Venezuela, and he sent us some messages on Twitter. He took us shopping, in effect, showing us the items on the shelf. This is milk powder. Now, if you want to buy that in Venezuela, you'd be paying 19,995 bolivar, that is the currency there. Or say you wanted some vinegar, a household item many of us use. Look at the cost here, 8,723. This is what hyperinflation looks like. Let's move along a little bit, take you to maybe a supermarket shelf that has sea salt on it. You want some sea salt? 2,635 bolivar. What about rice? We all, many of us, use rice and don't think much of it. If you want that in Venezuela, 3,520 bolivar. These numbers really hard to put into context. So let me try by comparing it to the US dollar. These are two items that Álvaro actually purchased. One was an onion. It cost him 864 bolivar. That is roughly 26 US cents. Then we have some bananas, 3 bananas, over 2,000 bolivar, only 64 cents in US dollars. Now, when converting his salary, he is a university professor. He earns $11, just over $11 every single month. When you think the cost of these basic items is nearing $1 each one, you can see how these basic items start biting into people's earnings. I want to just introduce you to someone else as well, Inti. He lives in Venezuela, has an 8-year-old child, speaking to us again in the Cube. And in a Twitter thread, he described how for ordinary Venezuelans, this is a struggle to get by. He goes on to say that saving is non-existent. When people get money, because the situation is so precarious with the value of the currency, the first thing they do is go and spend it, not on goods, but on food, because they do not know how much that money will be able to buy them. This is the situation. He also, Inti goes on to say that for his child growing up, this has kind of been the norm, but his child telling him that when they're president of Venezuela, they're going to reduce the prices so people can afford basic goods. And this is the human reality. Inti as well, telling us that the most vulnerable, particularly the elderly, many of whom have had family members leave Venezuela. We've, of course, seen the migration crisis. People leaving the country are left on their own to try and manage a system that is increasingly complex, hyperinflation out of control, and supermarket shelves that you saw there that's confusing for us with calculators, conversion rates. If that's your day-to-day life and you're trying to navigate through this mess, you can imagine how complicated it is. This is the human cost of Venezuela's economic crisis.